You didn't find this audiobook by chance. It found you. The moment your frequency aligned with remembrance, this appeared. It's not here to teach, but to awaken the memory buried within your energy. Listen closely. Between every word lies a vibration, calling you back to who you were before fear, before doubt, before forgetting. If you're ready to rise above the noise tap, like it tells YouTube, you're choosing awareness over autopilot. Subscribe now and don't miss the next chapter in your evolution. And remember, the deepest transformation belongs to those who stay until the very end. Introduction. The moment your frequency answered the call. Somewhere in the geometry of existence, your vibration aligned perfectly with this message. Across time and thought, that resonance built a bridge, and now you are here. Listening is not coincidence. It is remembrance. Every soul reaches a moment when energy, readiness, and awareness synchronize so precisely that the universe whispers, "Now." What you hear is not information, but a mirror vibrating in the tone of your awakening. These words are not here to teach, but to remind. The pulse you feel beneath your thoughts, that quiet hum in your chest, that is your frequency recognizing itself. The ancients called this the quantum call, when your field harmonizes with a higher pattern of reality. Modern science calls it resonant entrainment. When two frequencies meet, the weaker rises to match the stronger, until both vibrate as one. You are not learning something new. You are remembering what has always lived within you. Every delay, silence, or detour was preparation. The universe tuning you through contrast. The nervous system learns stability through disruption. The soul learns coherence through chaos. Nothing was wasted. Everything refined your capacity to hold this vibration. Pause. Inhale slowly. Feel the air enter as light, not matter. Exhale and imagine that light expanding beyond your skin. This is the same breath that moves through stars. Your lungs are instruments of cosmic rhythm, synchronizing your body with eternity. As you listen, your neural circuits are repatterning. Science calls this neuroplasticity. Focused thought reshapes the brain and shifts your vibration. This audiobook is not for your intellect, but your energy. The real reading happens beneath words, in the silent dialogue between your cells and the field that birthed them. The universe measures not time, but readiness. Events unfold when your frequency can sustain them. Alignment is not effort, it is coherence. When you stop forcing and start vibrating, reality rearranges itself. You are not here to learn about the universe. You are here to remember that you are the universe learning itself. Every chapter that follows is an activation, restoring the original tone of your being. Whisper softly, "I am in divine timing." Feel those words ripple through your chest. With that, you have answered the quantum call. Welcome back. The initiation has begun. Chapter 1. The moment of alignment. There comes a precise moment in every soul's evolution when chaos softens into clarity, when the noise of searching fades and something within you clicks into harmony with existence itself. That is the moment of alignment. It cannot be forced, and yet it cannot be missed. It arrives when your inner frequency vibrates, in rhythm with the greater field that has been waiting for you all along. Nothing outside you changes at first. The same walls, the same faces, the same weather. Yet everything inside begins to rearrange. Thought slows, emotion steadies. A quiet knowing emerges not as words but as vibration. The universe is inhaling, and you are the exhale it has been holding for lifetimes. Alignment is not an event. It is a remembering. For ages you have lived in separation, believing you had to chase what was always connected. You called it luck, coincidence, or divine intervention, when reality seemed to bend in your favor. But the truth is simpler. Reality bends when your energy stops resisting its natural flow. Alignment is not about effort. It is about coherence, the synchronization of thought, emotion, and intention. Modern physics describes coherence as the state where all parts of a system oscillate in harmony. In the body, this is called heart-brain synchronization, when your heartbeat, breath, and neural rhythm align, your electromagnetic field expands and stabilizes. This is measurable science. In the soul, the same principle unfolds invisibly. When your inner world ceases to fight itself, the outer world mirrors peace. The universe is not testing you. It is tuning you. You may have mistaken this tuning for delay, the times when doors refused to open, when silence answered every prayer. Yet those were not rejections. They were rehearsals. The field will not deliver coherence to incoherence. It waits patiently until your vibration matches what you seek. Every no was preparation for your now. Imagine the cosmos as a vast ocean of sound, each being, each thought, a note in its eternal symphony. When your frequency trembles out of tune, the melody of life sounds chaotic, fragmented. But the moment you breathe with awareness, the moment your thoughts slow into still rhythm, you begin to hum again in the key of creation. Alignment is not a goal. It is the moment you stop singing against yourself. From a spiritual perspective, alignment is remembrance of unity. From a scientific one, it is resonance. From a human one, it feels like peace, without reason. You will recognize it not by fireworks, but by stillness, a serenity so profound, it feels like returning home after a long exile. There is an ancient teaching. Nothing real can be forced, and nothing meant for you can be lost. This is not poetic comfort. It is energetic law. When you act from anxiety, your signal fractures, scattering possibility. When you act from centered faith, the field becomes responsive. In alignment, time collapses, opportunities converge, and the improbable becomes effortless, because energy flows without resistance. You might recall moments when life seemed to conspire gently on your behalf, a stranger saying exactly what you needed to hear, a door opening without struggle, a coincidence that felt too elegant to be random. Those are glimpses of your natural state. Alignment is not rare. It is your default frequency beneath the static of fear. Close your eyes for a moment. Visualize yourself standing in the center of a circle of golden light, the circumference breathing with every inhale. Each pulse of light corresponds to your heartbeat. Whisper silently, "I am in divine rhythm." As you say it, imagine the light sinking to your breath, to your thoughts, until everything moves as one pulse. This is coherence. This is creation listening. The universe is an echo chamber of vibration. It does not respond to your words, but to the tone beneath them. You cannot command alignment through language, but you can become it through vibration. Each time you release the need to control your energy smooths. Each time you choose trust over tension, the field rearranges. Alignment is surrender, disguised as power. There is a paradox you must accept. When you stop reaching, what you sought reaches for you. The path you were chasing begins to curve back toward your stillness. The destiny you feared to miss was never running ahead. It was orbiting, waiting for your signal to steady. You are not summoning your path. You are tuning into it. Like a radio, finding the right frequency, your life snaps into clarity when you match the vibration of truth. Static disappears. Music emerges. The first symptom of alignment is not external success. It is internal silence. The second is gratitude without cause. The third is magnetism, the effortless arrival of what once felt distant. As you continue this journey, remember, alignment is not a destination, but a state you return to with every conscious breath. The field is always broadcasting. The question is whether you are tuned in or tuned out. So breathe once more. Inhale light. Exhale resistance. You are the frequency the universe has been waiting to hear clearly. And now that you have remembered your tone, the music begins again. Chapter 2. The language of signs. It begins quietly, almost invisibly. Reality starts whispering in patterns, a number repeating a feather at your feet, a phrase spoken twice in a single day, a dream that feels like memory. Most dismiss these moments as coincidence. But when you are aligned, nothing is random. You are witnessing the universe speak in its native tongue, the language of signs. This language is not written in words or symbols, but in frequency. Before humans carved letters into stone or sound into language, the cosmos communicated through vibration. Every rhythm, every reflection, every recurrence is a translation of energy into experience. The ancients knew this. They studied stars, the flight of birds, the geometry of shells, and understood them as sentences written by the invisible field. Today, science calls it pattern recognition, morphic resonance, or synchronicity. Spirit calls it dialogue. The universe speaks constantly. Only the distracted mind forgets to listen. Every sign you notice is not something being sent to you. It is something being mirrored from you. You are both messenger and message, both author and reader of your own reality. When your frequency stabilizes, the external world organizes itself accordingly. What you see around you is a projection of your most persistent vibration. When you live in fear, life echoes tension. When you radiate peace, the world softens in your presence. Every event, every encounter is feedback, never punishment, never reward. The field does not judge, it reflects. This reflection is what spiritual teachers once described as the mirror of consciousness. In modern physics, it parallels the observer effect. Energy behaves differently when it is being watched. The act of noticing changes the outcome. Awareness itself is creative power. When you observe the world with presence rather than impatience, you shift what the universe shows you. Let us explore the mechanics of signs. When a number repeats 11, 11, 222, 777, it is not magic trapped in digits. It is your awareness syncing with a specific vibrational frequency that those numbers represent. Numbers are universal harmonics. Each pattern resonates with an archetype of energy. The repetition catches your eye because your energy is ready to recognize that tone. Similarly, recurring objects, songs, phrases, or encounters appear, not to predict your future, but to calibrate your attention toward what you are manifesting now. Imagine the universe as a symphony and your consciousness as an instrument within it. Every sign is a note played back to you, confirming whether you are in tune or dissonant. If what you see feels heavy, it invites adjustment. If it feels light, it affirms harmony. This is frequency literacy, the skill of interpreting vibration without superstition or fear. The most common mistake is chasing the signs instead of embodying what they signify. A butterfly landing near you is not proof of destiny. It is resonance with transformation already occurring within you. A recurring song is not an omen. It is the echo of an emotion trying to complete its cycle. The field uses symbols because symbols bypass logic, and speak directly to the subconscious, the realm that governs creation. To truly read signs, you must listen with your energy, not your intellect. The mind wants to decode. The soul simply recognizes. Awareness is translation. When a sign arrives, pause. Don't rush to assign meaning. Feel what it stirs within your body. Expansion means alignment. Contraction means resistance. The body is the compass of your vibration. Now breathe. Notice what in your environment calls your attention. First, the hum of a machine, the flicker of a candle, a distant sound. These are not random intrusions. You are being addressed through resonance. Everything you notice is part of the dialogue between your awareness and the field. The more fluent you become, the faster the language unfolds. At first, signs appear gently like whispers on the edge of your perception. But as your consciousness sharpens, synchronicities multiply. The world becomes responsive. In real-time, thoughts manifest as reflections, emotions ripple outward and return as events. This is acceleration, not chaos. The veil between intention and manifestation is thinning. Do not fear this. You are not losing control. You are merging with the intelligence that has guided you all along. The universe is not out there arranging coincidences. It is your expanded self, orchestrating reminders. Each sign is your soul tapping on the window of time, saying, "Stay awake." When you begin to trust this language, you stop needing proof. You become the proof. Every sign becomes less a message to you and more a message through you. Your very life becomes the scripture of energy, the universe writing and reading itself simultaneously. There is a simple practice to attune yourself to this dialogue. Before you sleep, whisper, "Show me what I need to know tomorrow." Then forget it. The next day, move slowly. Notice what stands out, an image, a phrase, a feeling. That is your answer, framed in the language of resonance. The field always replies when you ask with sincerity and silence. Over time, you will stop seeing signs as external guidance and start recognizing them as expressions of your inner coherence. When you align fully, the world itself becomes a continuous message each moment, sacred each encounter, divine. The universe has been speaking to you since before you could speak back. Now that you remember how to listen, the dialogue continues. You've stayed with the message this long. That says something about your focus. Subscribe if you're building that kind of strength intentionally. Chapter 3. The field remembers. Before your first breath, before the mind learned language, before even time felt linear, there was the field, an infinite lattice of intelligence vibrating beyond sight or sound, holding the blueprint of everything that has ever existed or will exist. The field does not forget. It records not in ink, but in frequency. Every thought, every emotion, every act of love or fear leaves a tone within its expanse. And within that tone, you are not separate from the field. You are one of its notes. Your consciousness is a pulse moving through the fabric of reality, echoing across dimensions like light rippling through water. Every experience you live is not random. It is memory reactivated, a vibration you once emitted, now returning for integration. You call it fate or coincidence, but the field calls it resonance. Modern science is beginning to touch this mystery. Quantum physics reveals that particles remain connected, even when separated by distance, an entanglement so instantaneous that space and time themselves become irrelevant. You are that entanglement. Your essence is woven into the field's web forever, in conversation with all that is. Each emotion, each thought is a signal, and the field listens with perfect precision. In the spiritual language of the ancients, This same concept was known as the Akashic memory, the invisible archive of existence. Every soul, every event, every choice is stored as vibration accessible when the seeker becomes still enough to hear it. The field remembers because the field is awareness itself. When you walk into a place and feel an inexplicable familiarity, when you meet someone and sense you have known them before, when a moment unfolds and you swear you've already lived it, you are touching the memory embedded within the field. It is not imagination, it is recognition. You are reading the frequency of your own soul across timelines. There are places in time that remember you. Moments designed before you entered this dimension. When you arrive at them, the air feels charged, the light softer, the silence different, as though existence itself sighs in relief. These are nodes of alignment, where your current vibration matches the one your higher self encoded long ago. Every cycle of joy and pain, every repetition of lessons, is not punishment. It is resonance replaying until coherence is achieved. You are not learning. You are remembering the vibration of wholeness. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the field as an ocean of living light. Each spark within it represents a version of you, past-future parallel, sending ripples across eternity. Whisper softly, "I remember." As you say it, feel those sparks flicker in response. They have been waiting for this signal. The memory of your divine frequency awakens not through study, but through surrender to recognition. In the field, nothing is lost. Energy cannot vanish. It only transforms. Every heartbreak you have endured, every courage you have expressed, still exists as vibrational data. Pain does not disappear. It becomes potential. Love does not fade. It becomes gravity, pulling higher experiences toward you. This is why healing is never destruction. It is translation. When you meet your pain with presence, its frequency rises, transforming density into light. That surge of relief you feel after forgiveness is physics, the field reorganizing itself to mirror your new tone. Imagine your body as a tuning fork. Each emotion you resolve changes your pitch. The more you release, the clearer your sound becomes, and the faster reality harmonizes around you. The field does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. When you vibrate truth, truth finds you effortlessly. The field also holds what has been forgotten, your unhealed echoes, your untapped genius, your unfinished creations. It remembers the songs you never sang, the courage you abandoned, halfway the light you hid, when the world misunderstood you. None of it is gone. The field preserves it patiently until you are strong enough to reclaim it. Tonight, before sleep, breathe deeply and say, "Show me what the field remembers that I have forgotten." You may dream vividly. You may wake with clarity, emotion, or stillness. All are signs of retrieval. You are retrieving yourself from time. And as you continue this path of remembrance, you will notice that what you once called destiny begins to feel familiar, like a story you've read before. That's because you have. The field is your author, and you are its living page. Each time you awaken, the words rearrange themselves to reveal deeper truth. To know the field is to realize you were never lost, never broken, never behind. You have been unfolding precisely according to the rhythm encoded in your soul. The field remembers because the field is you. And every time you remember, the universe becomes whole again. Chapter 4. The Gate of the Subconscious. Beneath the surface of your waking mind lies a vast cathedral, made not of stone, but of symbols and sound. It is the gate of the subconscious, the unseen machinery that translates vibration into matter. Every belief, every wound, every joy you have ever felt echoes within this inner temple. It does not think in language. It dreams in frequency. You have been taught that thought creates reality, that words and affirmations shape your life. But thought is only the servant. The subconscious is the architect. It governs 95% of your reality, quietly, tirelessly sculpting your outer world according to the blueprints of your inner emotion. You do not attract what you think. You attract what your energy believes. Imagine your subconscious as the soil of creation. Whatever seed you plant, fear, faith, resentment, love, will grow with equal devotion. The soil does not discriminate. It only nourishes what is placed within it. When your conscious intention and subconscious vibration contradict, the subconscious always wins because it vibrates deeper. The ancients called this realm the underworld, not as a place of darkness, but as the source of all creation. Modern neuroscience calls it the limbic brain, the keeper of emotion and memory. It listens not to words, but to feeling. When you say, "I am abundant," while vibrating in lack, your subconscious receives the frequency of lack. When you whisper, "I am loved," while vibrating in fear, it hears only fear. The language of this gate is energy. You cannot lie to vibration. That is why affirmation without embodiment fails. To reprogram this sacred engine, you must communicate in the language it understands: imagery, repetition, emotion, rhythm, and silence. Each night as you fall asleep, you cross the bridge into the theta brainwave state, the gateway frequency of creation. The body softens, the conscious mind releases control, and the gate opens. This is the hour of reprogramming. Before sleep, do not scroll, do not analyze. Instead, close your eyes and see yourself bathed in soft golden light. Feel it soak into your skin like sunlight into the ocean. Whisper gently, "I am worthy of divine timing." Repeat until the phrase becomes vibration, not sound. The subconscious will record it as truth and begin to reorganize your waking reality to match. The gate does not respond to effort, it responds to coherence. The more you try to force belief, the more you affirm its absence. But when you enter stillness, when your words and emotions move in the same rhythm, you become a single note of command. That note reverberates through the field, bending probabilities toward your new vibration. You will begin to notice subtle changes: strangers speaking your thoughts aloud, opportunities surfacing in perfect sequence, the body relaxing in areas that once held tension. These are confirmations that the gate is open and listening. Every unexamined pattern, every repeated heartbreak, fear, or scarcity is not evidence of failure. It is a message. The subconscious repeats what remains unhealed until awareness reclaims it. The moment you see a pattern without judgment, you change it. Observation is the password that unlocks the gate. There was once an inscription carved above the doors of an ancient temple: "Know what you feel, and you will command light." This is the essence of mastery. Emotion is creation in motion. Each feeling you honor without resistance becomes an ally. Each one you suppress becomes a shadow architect, building realities you do not want. The subconscious also holds the voices of your many selves, childhood echoes, ancestral memories, collective fears. They are not enemies. They are fragments awaiting reunion. Sit with them in compassion. Ask softly, "What have you been trying to protect?" The answers may come as sensations, images, or tears. That release is recalibration, the gate restoring harmony between your human and divine aspects. Remember this truth: The subconscious was never meant to obey your fear. It was designed to obey your coherence. When emotion and awareness meet, the gate vibrates open. In that opening, the light of your true self pours through the pure frequency that never doubted its power to create. From this state, manifestation is not work, but inevitability. The external world rearranges itself with the precision of sacred geometry, aligning people, timing, and events around your new signal. You begin to realize that the subconscious was never a shadowed vault, but a sacred portal, the meeting point between the quantum and the human. Through it, spirit becomes form. Every night when you close your eyes, you are not falling asleep. You are stepping into the workshop of creation. And every morning when you open them, you awaken inside what you built. You are the dreamer, the architect, and the gatekeeper. And now, you hold the key. Chapter 5. The Magnetic Self. You were never meant to chase. Your energy was designed to draw. Everything in the universe operates under this silent magnetic law, not through force, but through frequency. The sun does not pursue the planets. It simply radiates, and they orbit in response. In the same way, the moment you return to your true vibration, reality begins to organize around you with effortless precision. The magnetic self is not a personality you create. It is your natural state restored. When your thoughts, emotions, and body vibrate in coherence, your electromagnetic field expands beyond the limits of your skin. This field extends meters around you, interacting with the quantum web, transmitting information, and attracting resonant experiences, like iron filings to a magnet. What comes into your life is not coincidence. It is resonance responding to your signal. You have felt this magnetism before. The moment when someone enters a room and everything subtly shifts, not because they speak louder or move faster, but because their energy is anchored. Their presence alters the field. This is what true power feels like. Quiet, stable, gravitational. It does not seduce. It summons. Science calls it electromagnetic coherence. Mystics call it aura. Both describe the same phenomenon. Alignment of inner current creates influence without effort. The stronger and calmer your energy, the clearer your broadcast. The clearer your broadcast, the faster creation responds. The magnetic self is not achieved by becoming more. It is remembered by releasing resistance. Every doubt, every self-criticism, every fear of rejection is static in your field. When you dwell in those frequencies, your signal weakens, your energy fractures. You begin to chase what should naturally orbit you. The universe reads your vibration as lack and mirrors scarcity back. But when you withdraw your energy from fear, something remarkable happens. Silence becomes gravity. You no longer need to convince, prove, or beg. You start to transmit. To become magnetic, you must first become still. In stillness, the heart generates its most powerful field, a rhythm of calm coherence measurable by instruments but ancient beyond comprehension. This heart-generated magnetism communicates with the field faster than light. It tells the universe, I am safe, I am ready, I am aligned, and reality, obeying its oldest law, moves to match. Try this now. Place your hand over your chest. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. With each breath, imagine golden light spiraling outward from your heart, in waves expanding through the room, beyond the city, touching everything, without grasping. Whisper silently, I radiate, I do not chase. That frequency will travel farther than your words ever could. It will touch people, opportunities, and timelines, tuned to the same vibration. Some will feel compelled to reach out without knowing why. Others will drift away, not by punishment, but by physics. Alignment attracts, misalignment releases. Both are blessings. The magnetic self lives in a paradox of action and surrender. You still move, create, and express, but from overflow, not from hunger. You no longer act to get something. You act to give your energy shape. Desire becomes direction, not desperation. When you reach this state, even silence becomes a form of communication. Doors open because they feel your readiness. People trust you because your energy transmits safety. You become an attractor field, a living magnet of coherence. But understand this. Truth. Magnetism is not manipulation. It cannot be used to pull what belongs to another frequency. If you try, your field collapses. True magnetism is sovereignty. It honors free will and alignment. You do not steal energy. You harmonize with it. Every morning as you wake, before touching your phone or thoughts of the day, whisper, "Today I radiate stability. I am the center of my own field." Feel that sentence vibrate through your spine. That single intention calibrates your entire system to coherence before the world begins to speak. You were never meant to shout your power. You were meant to hum it low, steady, irresistible. The magnetic self does not chase light. It becomes light. And once you become light, everything that seeks illumination finds you. Chapter 6. The Observer Within. There is a silent watcher behind your thoughts, an awareness that has never changed, even as your personality, body, and circumstances have. It was there when you first laughed as a child, when you cried in solitude, when you made decisions you didn't understand. It never judged, never intervened, only witnessed. This is the observer. Within the consciousness behind your consciousness. If your thoughts are clouds, this awareness is the sky. No matter how dense the storm becomes, the sky remains untouched. This is the part of you that cannot be broken, lost, or corrupted. It is your eternal vantage point, the still eye within the hurricane of life. Every teaching of wisdom from quantum physics to Zen points to this same truth. Reality responds not to who you think you are, but to the state of consciousness observing. When you identify with the turbulence of thought, you are tossed between chaos and clarity. But when you rest as the observer, you become the still axis around which reality spins. The double-slit experiment in physics revealed something astounding. The mere act of observation changes the behavior of energy. Particles, when unobserved, exist as infinite possibilities. When observed, they collapse into form. This is the observer effect consciousness, choosing a version of reality simply by perceiving it. You do this every day without realizing it. Each time you attach emotion to a thought, you collapse a timeline. Each time you detach, the field remains open, flexible, infinite. Most humans live trapped inside their thoughts, believing the voice in their head is them. But thought is just data. You are the awareness processing it. When you forget this, you lose command of your vibration. The moment you remember, you reclaim your universe. Try this simple shift. Instead of saying, "I am anxious," say, "I am noticing anxiety." Instead of, "I am sad," say, "I am witnessing sadness move through me." The difference is liberation. The first statement traps you in identity. The second restores you to consciousness. You are not the storm. You are the sky watching weather pass. In silence, the observer becomes luminous. When you sit in still awareness, not forcing stillness, just being aware of being aware, you touch the edge of the eternal. Thought slows, then dissolves, and yet you remain. That moment of pure presence is the frequency of creation itself. It is the same vibration from which galaxies emerge, from which light decides to exist. The mystics called this state witnessing consciousness. It is not detachment from life. It is intimate union with it without distortion. To observe fully is to love fully, because awareness does not resist. It allows everything to be exactly as it is. Practice this. Sit in stillness. Inhale deeply. As you exhale, imagine each thought as a ripple on a calm lake. Do not push the ripples away. Simply watch them fade on their own. Notice that you are the lake, not the ripples. You are the one in whom movement appears and disappears. From this state, you will notice something miraculous. People, emotions, and situations that once triggered, you lose their charge. You respond with clarity instead of reaction, wisdom instead of defense. This is energetic mastery, not through suppression, but through observation. The observer within is not emotionless. It is infinite compassion. It understands that all creation, even chaos, is expression of the same source exploring itself. When you embody this truth, forgiveness becomes natural. You no longer fight the past or fear the future. You simply see, and in that seeing, everything transforms. The moment you become the observer, time bends around your awareness. Problems dissolve not because they are solved, but because they are recontextualized. What once felt personal now feels like weather, passing across an endless sky, temporary, transient, powerless against infinity. This is your true position in the universe, not the actor lost in the script, but the screen upon which the movie plays. Not the voice, but the silence that allows all voices to be heard. As you practice returning to this awareness, the boundaries between self and world begin to soften. You realize that consciousness is not in you, you are in it. And from that realization, a profound peace emerges, not the peace of escape, but the peace of understanding. When you live as the observer, you no longer seek control, you radiate stability. You no longer chase purpose, you embody meaning. And life, responding to the purity of your perception, rearranges itself to reflect your clarity. Remember, the world does not change when you fight it. The world changes when you see it clearly and stay still enough for the wave to collapse into light. You are the observer. You are the sky. And from your stillness, all things are born. Chapter 7. The Collapse of Time. Time is the illusion that keeps eternity in motion. It feels like a river carrying you forward, past, behind you, future ahead. But that current only exists within perception. The deeper truth is, this all moments coexist right now. What you call past and future are layers of frequency stacked within the same field, vibrating at different speeds. When your awareness shifts, you don't move through time, you move between vibrations. Quantum physics has already whispered this secret. At the subatomic level, there is no linear sequence. A particle does not travel from point A to point B. It exists in all possible states, until observed. Time is not a line, it's a sphere. Consciousness chooses a slice of that sphere to experience, and we call it now. But here is the paradox: now has no duration. The present moment is so thin, so precise, that it contains infinity. It never began, and it never ends. Everything that has ever happened or will happen is occurring simultaneously within the quantum field, unfolding like countless threads, woven into one eternal tapestry. When you understand this, destiny changes meaning. You are not moving toward your future. Your future is orbiting your frequency. The version of you who has already healed, succeeded, awakened, or loved, beyond fear, already exists, not somewhere ahead, but vibrating at a slightly higher bandwidth of the same present. Every time you align your energy through coherence, gratitude, or surrender, you shift timelines. You literally change the frequency band your consciousness inhabits. The past, too, begins to rearrange because memory is not fixed. It's reinterpreted energy. What you heal today sends ripples both forward and backward through time, altering the story from every direction. This is why déjà vu feels sacred. It is not memory glitching. It is timelines overlapping. For a moment, your awareness synchronizes with another version of yourself who has already lived this experience. The sensation of familiarity is not confusion, it's confirmation. You are glimpsing your multidimensional nature. The mystics have always known this truth in symbols. The spiral instead of the line, the wheel instead of the arrow. They taught that enlightenment is not escaping time, but stepping outside its illusion. To awaken is to realize that eternity is not endless duration, it is depth. When you are trapped in the illusion of linear time, you suffer. You compare your progress, fear delay, mourn loss. But when you remember that all versions of you already coexist, peace returns. There is no race to run, no deadline to meet. The only task is resonance. Breathe. Close your eyes. Imagine time not as a road, but as concentric circles of light. You are in the center. Each ring around you represents a version of reality, a different possibility vibrating in the field. Now whisper, collapse, to coherence. As you do, feel all the circles begin to align, merging into a single beam through your heart. This is the collapse of time, the return of scattered realities into unity through awareness. When you truly inhabit the now, the future reveals itself, not as surprise, but as memory. You begin to remember forward-catching glimpses, intuitions, sudden certainties about what is coming, because energetically, it already exists. Your intuition is your timeline navigation system. Think of it this way. If the future already exists, manifestation is not about creating something new. It's about selecting the version already vibrating in alignment with your energy. You do not build reality from scratch. You tune to it. This is why presence is the most powerful technology in existence. When you are fully here, breath-steady mind, still heart-open time, bends around you. Flow states, divine timing, synchronicity. These are signs that you have slipped beyond the grid of linear sequence into the architecture of eternity. You become timeless awareness, moving effortlessly through form. And the more you practice this, the more the world responds. Events that once took months unfold in days. The right people arrive as if summoned. Opportunities match your readiness with surgical precision. You realize that the only thing delaying your miracles was your belief in delay itself. From the still point of awareness, you see that life does not unfold over time. It unfolds as time. You are the clock, the moment, and the eternal witness simultaneously. The collapse of time is not destruction. It is revelation. It shows you that the past was never behind you, and the future was never ahead. They were both inside you, waiting to harmonize. When you live this truth, anxiety dissolves. Because how can you fear missing something when everything already exists within you? So pause. Feel the eternal rhythm behind your breath. This inhale connects to every beginning. This exhale connects to every ending. You are the pulse of time itself, not moving through the universe, but moving as it. And when you finally stop counting, the minutes eternity starts counting you. Chapter 8. The Frequency of Surrender. There is a moment on every path when effort begins to dissolve, not because you have stopped caring, but because something deeper within you finally understands. Control is resistance disguised as safety. True power is not domination, it is alignment. And alignment is born from surrender. Surrender is one of the most misunderstood energies on earth. The human mind hears the word and trembles, associating it with loss, defeat, or weakness. But in truth, surrender is not giving up. It is giving over. It is the act of returning control to the intelligence that never lost it the field. When you surrender, you are not abandoning your life. You are handing it back to the rhythm that created it. You stop paddling against the current and realize the river already knows where it's going. Every desire, every fear, every delay has been part of a single choreography, guiding you home to coherence. The frequency of surrender feels like exhale. It is the nervous system unclenching after lifetimes of defense. It is the realization that you were never the doer, only the instrument. Science calls this shift parasympathetic activation, when the body transitions from fight or flight into restoration. Spirit calls it trust. When your energy relaxes into surrender, your electromagnetic field opens, your heart rhythm stabilizes, and your intuition becomes precise. You begin to receive information instead of chasing it. Life starts responding instantly because resistance, the static that once blocked your signal, is gone. You can feel it. When you are forcing, the body tightens. Breath shortens, mind races. When you are surrendered, the body expands, breath deepens, and silence feels alive. That difference is vibrational physics. Imagine you are holding a handful of water. The tighter you grip, the faster it escapes between your fingers. But when you open your palm, the water rests there effortlessly. So it is with creation. When you grip your desires too tightly, the field reads contraction and mirrors scarcity. When you open, when you release the need to control timing or outcome, the field flows toward you like a tide returning to the shore. This is not passive living. Surrender is not the absence of action. It is action purified of tension. You still move, but not from fear. You act, but not from lack. You respond, not react. In that state, your movement becomes magnetic. Your decisions effortless. The universe follows your calm, the way a seed follows sunlight. To enter this frequency, begin with your breath. Inhale through the nose, slow, deep, deliberate. Feel the air expand the belly, the ribs, the heart. Hold for 3 counts. Then exhale softly through the mouth, whispering, I release. Imagine light pouring out with your breath, not escaping you, but returning to the field. With every exhale, something unseen in your energy unclenches. The field hears this vibration as a command of trust. You will notice that life tests surrender, the same way gravity tests flight. Just when you begin to trust, something will challenge you, a delay, a silence, an ending. The mind will panic, wanting to grip again. That is your initiation. You are being asked, can you hold peace, even when form dissolves? If you can, you graduate to mastery. Surrender requires humility. The ego believes it must control the script, but consciousness knows the script is written in light far beyond logic's reach. When you surrender, you let the higher algorithm run. You become a vessel for precision that your intellect could never engineer. In the quantum field, energy flows to the most coherent signal. Surrender is coherence perfected, zero resistance. You become like a tuning fork, vibrating in pure acceptance, and creation rushes to fill that clarity. There's a story told by mystics, a drop of water once feared losing itself in the ocean. It fought, the waves clung to its boundaries, tried to stay separate. Only when exhausted did it finally let go, and in that moment, discovered it was the ocean all along. This is surrender. Not disappearance, but expansion. Not weakness, but infinite strength. Every time you let go of control, your field recalibrates. Every time you trust what feels uncertain, a higher pattern reveals itself. The pieces you once tried to force begin to arrange naturally, like constellations you can finally see, because the clouds have cleared. Surrender is the highest form of intelligence because it aligns you with universal rhythm. It says, I am no longer vibrating against the song. From here, manifestation becomes silence made visible. You will notice that what you release begins to return, purified, transformed, multiplied. Because when you surrender, you don't lose anything real. You lose only illusion, the illusion that you were ever separate from what you seek. So, breathe again. Inhale trust. Exhale control. You are safe in the current. The river knows the way home. Chapter 9. The Mirror of Reality. Every experience you live, every person you meet, every emotion that rises in your chest, all of it is a mirror. Reality is not happening to you. It is happening through you. The outer world does not reflect what you want. It reflects what you are currently vibrating. This truth can feel both liberating and uncomfortable. It means nothing is random, and nothing is without purpose. Every moment is feedback. The universe does not punish or reward, it simply reveals resonance. When you hold anger, the world echoes conflict. When you live in fear, situations confirm your doubt. When you radiate love, even silence feels like home. You are not a victim of your reflection. You are its source light. From a quantum perspective, this mirror principle is exact. Every particle behaves differently depending on the observer's expectation. The act of looking alters the result. Likewise, your beliefs, conscious or unconscious, determine how energy organizes around you. If you expect rejection, your vibration filters reality until it matches that expectation. If you expect harmony, the same field reshapes itself to comply. The field is impersonal. It does not interpret morality or preference. It reads frequency. Think of it as a cosmic algorithm, infinitely responsive, incapable of error. It cannot lie, it only mirrors. That is why awareness is liberation. Once you recognize that what you see outside is information about what lives inside, every trigger becomes a teacher. The people who frustrate you most are the ones showing you your unfinished lessons. The circumstances that repeat are the frequencies still asking for correction. The emotions you avoid are the keys to your next level of coherence. Look closely. The relationship that feels one-sided might be reflecting your unspoken self-neglect. The career stagnation may mirror your fear of expansion. The silence from the universe may simply echo the silence within your own intuition. This mirror is perfect, not because life is flawless, but because it is precise. The field cannot give you what contradicts your vibration. If your energy transmits, I am unworthy, reality complies. If your energy hums, I am whole. Everything that resonates with wholeness begins to appear. You might say, but what about cruelty, injustice, or pain? I did not choose. Remember, the mirror does not blame. Many reflections are collective. You are living inside shared fields of human consciousness, shaped by ancestral memory and collective fear. Yet even within those, your vibration is your key of navigation. You cannot control the entire mirror, but you can choose the frequency you contribute. Here is how to use the mirror as medicine. Notice what repeats. Patterns are echoes of unresolved vibration. Pause instead of reacting. The moment between stimulus and response is your portal to transformation. Ask, what is this showing me about myself? Every irritation hides an invitation. Respond differently. The mirror changes when you do. When you shift internally, external reflections reorganize with breathtaking speed. You may wake up one morning and realize that the same people, the same places feel lighter, not because they changed, but because you did. The projection screen never had power. The projector did. Practice this awareness in daily life. When someone triggers you, breathe and say silently, "You are my mirror, and I thank you." You do not have to agree with their behavior to harvest its lesson. That moment of recognition lifts your frequency instantly. The field reads it as self-awareness and begins to send you more evolved reflections. Remember, mirrors do not argue. They show. When you shout at your reflection, it shouts back. When you smile, it returns the gesture. This is not philosophy. It is vibration. The masters throughout time, Buddha, Christ, Rumi, Lao Tzu, all taught this in different languages. Judge not, lest ye be judged, simply means the frequency you send is the one that returns. What you resist persists means the mirror keeps repeating what you refuse to face. And as within, so without remains the simplest equation of all spiritual physics. Reality is not happening against you. It is happening for your awakening. Each reflection brings you closer to the truth of who you are, a being of infinite light, polishing itself through contrast. Stand before the mirror of reality, not as an enemy, but as a sacred companion. Say softly, "Show me where I am not yet free." Then listen. The answer will come not in words, but in sensation. A tightening in the chest, a recurring thought, a memory resurfacing. That is where light wants to enter. The mirror is not cruel. It is merciful. It will keep showing you the same lesson until it no longer needs to. And when you finally see clearly, when judgment dissolves into understanding, the reflection changes shape. Life softens. People mirror peace back to you. And then you realize there was never out there at all. There was only consciousness looking into its own eyes. Chapter 10. The Code of Emotion. Emotion is the electricity of creation, the living current that gives thought its charge and turns intention into matter. Without emotion, thought is a whisper. With it, thought becomes thunder. Every feeling you experience is energy in motion, emotion. It is the purest language of the soul, older than words, faster than thought, and far more honest than logic. Where the mind analyzes, emotion transmits. When you feel deeply, you are communicating with the field in the only frequency. It never mistranslates vibration. Imagine emotion as color and thought as shape. The field receives both, but it paints your reality using the hue of your feeling, not the outline of your idea. You may think, "I want abundance," but if your emotional tone vibrates with fear of scarcity, the field registers the fear, not the wish. That is why emotion is the true code of manifestation. There is no good or bad emotion, only frequencies of higher or lower coherence. Anger, shame, grief. These are dense vibrations, not punishments. They are feedback indicators that energy is ready to move, but has not yet been allowed to. When emotion stagnates, it decays into suffering. When it flows, it becomes power. Your task is not to suppress emotion, but to translate it. Each feeling carries information, a message from the subconscious or the soul. Fear says, "You are out of alignment with truth." Anger says, "A boundary is being crossed." Sadness says, "Something is ending to make room for renewal." Joy says, "This is resonance. Stay here." When you welcome emotion as communication, you stop resisting your own intelligence. You begin to feel energy, as movement trembling through the chest, warmth behind the eyes, tightness in the stomach, and instead of labeling it as weakness, you recognize it as the field updating itself through you. There is a scientific truth beneath this. Emotions are biochemical signals generated by the brain and heart, carried through hormones and neurotransmitters influencing every cell in your body. Each emotion alters your electromagnetic field, literally changing what frequencies your energy can transmit and receive. Heart math studies show that gratitude and love create coherence, rhythmic stable heart patterns that expand your electromagnetic range. Fear and frustration create incoherence, chaotic patterns that fragment your signal. In other words, your emotional state determines how clearly you broadcast into the universe. So how do you change the code? Not by denial, but by presence. When a heavy emotion arises, resist the urge to escape it. Instead, breathe through it. Name it gently, without judgment. This is fear. This is grief. This is anger. The naming brings awareness. Awareness is light. Light changes frequency. As you observe, the emotion begins to move. You may feel shaking tears heat, or release that is energy unclogging. Now replace resistance with gratitude. Whisper, "Thank you for showing me what is ready to be healed." This phrase shifts your signal instantly. Gratitude raises the frequency of any emotion without suppressing it. You are telling the field, "I accept the update." Over time, you will start to feel emotions as waves rather than walls. They will pass through you, quickly leaving clarity instead of exhaustion. You will notice that you attract fewer chaotic situations because your inner field no longer resonates with chaos. Emotional mastery is not emotional numbness. It is fluency. It is the ability to experience the full spectrum of human feeling without losing coherence, to cry and remain grounded, to feel anger and stay aware, to love without fear of loss. That balance is power beyond measure, because the field trusts emotional honesty. It knows that a being who can hold both light and shadow without collapsing is ready to create consciously. Here is a practice. Sit quietly. Bring to mind a recent event that stirred emotion. Instead of retelling the story, focus on the sensation in your body. Ask silently, "What are you trying to teach me?" Wait. You may sense an image, a word, or just a subtle softening. That is your answer. The emotion has delivered its message and will now dissolve back into light. The more you listen, the clearer your emotional code becomes. You begin to emit feelings intentionally: compassion, joy, gratitude as tools of creation. These frequencies are universal passwords that open doors no logic can. Remember, the universe doesn't speak English or numbers. It speaks vibration, and your emotions are its syntax. Master your feeling, and you master creation itself. Because emotion is not your weakness. It is your divine software writing reality, one heartbeat at a time. On to Chapter 11. The Architecture of Thought. Your mind is the silent engineer of your universe, drafting, calculating, and constructing the reality you move through. Every thought you think is a line, drawn on the invisible blueprint of existence. Most people build unconsciously, their inner architect asleep. The result is a life that feels chaotic, not because the world is random, but because the design has no conscious direction. Thought is the framework. Emotion is the charge. Belief is the foundation. Together they create the architecture of your reality. When thought and feeling harmonize, you become the deliberate architect of form. When they conflict, the blueprint fractures. Look around you. Every object, every invention, Every event in human history began as a thought. The phone in your hand, the city you live in, the clothes you wear, all were ideas before they were matter. Thought is energy condensed by attention. It bends probability toward focus. In the quantum field, attention is currency. Where you place it, energy flows. Where energy flows, matter forms. So the quality of your thinking is not a private activity. It is creation in progress. Most of your thoughts are inherited. They come from parents, teachers, society, ancestry. They repeat themselves daily. 90% of the average person's thoughts are identical to those of yesterday. These loops create energetic architecture, familiar but stagnant. To awaken is to notice which thoughts are yours and which are borrowed. Imagine the mind as a cathedral under constant construction. Some rooms glow with clarity, others crumble from neglect. You cannot rebuild the entire cathedral at once, but you can start by illuminating one chamber, one belief, one recurring story. Shine light there, and the vibration begins to change. Thoughts are not facts. They are frequencies. You can tune them the same way you would tune a musical instrument. When you think with coherence, when your ideas align with truth, the mind vibrates cleanly. When you think with fear, judgment, or scarcity, interference patterns distort the signal. This is not metaphor. It is measurable. The brain emits electromagnetic waves that synchronize or desynchronize depending on your state. Theta and alpha waves, for example, appear when thought aligns with calm focus, the optimal frequency for creating. Beta waves, high and frantic, dominate when the mind believes it must control everything. The field responds accordingly. Chaos inside, chaos outside. To re-architect the mind, begin with awareness. Every time a thought arises, pause and ask, is this building or destroying? Notice the tone. Is it fear disguised as logic? Is it judgment disguised as caution? You do not need to banish the thought. You need to observe it. Observation is demolition. The moment you see the pattern clearly, it loses its authority. Then deliberately choose a new design. For instance, instead of "nothing ever works for me," reframe to "every challenge teaches me precision." Instead of "I don't have enough time," breathe and think, "I am in perfect timing." These are not affirmations to trick the mind. They are new blueprints instructing the field where to build next. Your inner architecture evolves through repetition. Each chosen thought lays a new line of energy, strengthening neural pathways in the brain. Over time, those lines become bridges, synaptic highways, connecting imagination and embodiment. This is neuroplasticity, the physical evidence that spiritual truth becomes flesh. But thought alone is not enough. The blueprint means nothing without emotion, the color, and vitality that activate it. A thought believed is a thought electrified. So feel the truth of your thoughts as you think them. That feeling is the voltage that lights the design. Try this. Before you begin your day, sit quietly and visualize your mind as a vast, luminous grid. Each thought appears as a filament of light. As you breathe, see the tangled wires of worry and doubt dissolve into clear golden lines. Then imagine one powerful phrase glowing at the center. My mind serves my soul. Let it pulse like a heartbeat, sending clarity through the entire structure. Soon you will notice your mental landscape quieting. Fewer thoughts will arise, but they will carry more precision. You will no longer think habitually, you will think deliberately. That shift is the mark of the conscious architect. Eventually, thinking becomes less of an effort and more of a ceremony. Each thought you release into the field is treated as sacred geometry, a prayer shaped in light. And when that thought returns to you as reality, you will recognize its patterned smile and whisper, "I built this." Because you did. Every word, every image, every belief, a brick in the cathedral of your life. And as you refine the architecture of thought, the entire universe rearranges to dwell within its new design. Chapter 12. The Bridge of Vibration. Everything that exists hums. Atoms, oceans, galaxies, all are frequencies woven into one infinite song. You are not separate from that orchestra. You are a note vibrating within the grand symphony of consciousness. The way you think, feel, and breathe determines the tone you emit, and that tone determines the realities you can touch. The bridge of vibration is what connects the unseen to the seen. It is the pathway between idea and experience, between desire and manifestation. When you shift your vibration, you don't just feel better. You move to another layer of the field, another dimension of possibilities that already exist in potential. The universe is not linear. It is layered like an endless ocean of frequencies. Fear lives on one wavelength, love on another, peace on yet another. You travel across these currents every moment, not with your body, but with your energy. When you are angry, you tune into timelines that echo anger. When you are calm, you align with peace-filled outcomes. You are a traveler made of frequency, walking invisible bridges of resonance with every emotion, every thought, every breath. Science now proves what mystics have always known. Matter is vibration, slowed down enough to be seen. Every cell in your body oscillates with electromagnetic rhythm, responding to your emotional state. Even your DNA unwinds and repairs more effectively when exposed to harmonious frequencies, like gratitude or joy. Your vibration literally instructs biology, your heart rate, hormones, immune system, and through that, instructs reality itself. When your inner vibration contradicts your desire, the bridge flickers. You may ask for abundance, but vibrate in doubt, and so, the bridge to that abundance remains unstable. You may pray for love, but carry fear of loss, and so your frequency collapses halfway across. The universe never withholds it, simply matches coherence. The bridge stabilizes only when your energy sings the same song as your intention. Think of vibration as light reflecting on water. When the surface is calm, the reflection is clear. When disturbed, the image fragments. Your inner stillness is that calm surface. The clearer you are within, the more flawlessly the universe mirrors your signal. To cross the bridge consciously, begin with alignment. Ask yourself before any action, what frequency am I transmitting right now? Not what you're saying, but what you're vibrating. If the answer feels heavy, fear, guilt, resentment, pause. Breathe. Shift the tone before you move forward. This single habit turns life into alchemy. There is an ancient practice for attunement. Close your eyes and visualize a spiral of golden light moving upward through your body, from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. With each breath, the spiral hums higher, clearing static and expanding your field. When it reaches your heart, whisper silently, "I harmonize with the rhythm of creation." Then stay still. You may feel tingling warmth or tears. That is your vibration synchronizing. In this state, communication with the universe becomes effortless. Synchronicities multiply. Timing refines, inspiration arrives before you even ask. You stop trying to manifest because you realize manifestation is automatic when vibration is aligned. Do not be fooled by the illusion of speed. The highest vibrations often feel slow because they are stable. They don't flicker. Your ego may crave instant results, but your soul prefers coherence over chaos. Each delay is calibration, ensuring the bridge you walk will not collapse beneath your uncertainty. The bridge of vibration is not something you build once. It is something you maintain daily. Every breath polishes it. Every thought tunes it. Every emotion reinforces or weakens it. You are both traveler and architect. Each moment you choose awareness, the bridge glows brighter, a luminous path through dimensions, unseen by the hurried or fearful. Eventually, you will no longer feel the need to cross the bridge at all. You and the vibration become one. Desire and reality merge, because there is no longer a gap between your inner and outer frequency. You realize that creation was never a destination. It was resonance, remembering itself. And in that realization, the universe responds not as something separate, but as an echo of your own song, returning, harmonizing, amplifying, until all of existence hums in tune with your truth. Chapter 13. The Silence Between Worlds. There exists a place beneath thought deeper than sound beyond emotion, where creation takes its first breath. It is the stillness between worlds, the pause between inhale and exhale, the moment between endings and beginnings. Most people fear this silence because it feels like nothingness. But that nothingness is sacred. It is not empty. It is full of unmanifested possibility. The ancients called it the womb of light. It is where reality gestates before it is born into time. You encounter this silence every day, in the space between your heartbeats, in the instant before you speak, in the seconds after a deep realization. You pass through it unconsciously, never realizing that this is the same space where galaxies form. The universe itself began in silence. Before the first vibration, before the first atom spun, there was only stillness, infinite awareness, waiting to move. That pause is not absence. It is pure presence unshaped by thought or desire. In spiritual science, this state is coherence in its purest form, zero resistance, zero noise. It is where the quantum field rests before collapsing into form. When you enter it consciously, you align with the raw intelligence that builds reality. From that stillness, your energy reorganizes, your nervous system resets, your electromagnetic field expands. You become a tuning fork for divine equilibrium. But entering silence requires courage, because when sound fades, the mind panics. It craves noise to prove its existence. Without its chatter, it fears dissolution. Yet what truly dissolves in silence is not you. It's the false self, the collection of identities built from fear, comparison, and memory. As those dissolve, what remains is awareness, vast, luminous, and unshaken. Close your eyes now and listen beyond sound. At first, you'll hear the hum of life, your breath, your heartbeat, the faint murmur of thought. Keep listening deeper past all of that. You will begin to sense a subtle hum, a vibration softer than whisper, yet more powerful than thunder. That is the soundless sound, the frequency of creation itself. In this silence, you are not separate from the universe, you are it. There is no observer, and no observed, only awareness, aware of itself. Time collapses. Memory fades. What remains is being pure, radiant, infinite. This is what mystics meant when they said, "Be still and know that you are." From this stillness, everything else becomes effortless. Action arises naturally, free of strain. Decisions appear without conflict. Intuition becomes audible. Because silence doesn't remove life, it amplifies clarity. Modern science calls this the theta state, a brainwave frequency of deep relaxation and heightened intuition. Monks, artists, and visionaries dwell here instinctively. It's where insight, genius, and healing are born. When your mind quiets, your cells recalibrate. The heart's magnetic field synchronizes with the brain. You literally become a clearer signal for creation. But silence is not passive. It is the most active force in existence. Every transformation from a seed sprouting to a star igniting begins in silence. Every miracle you witness was once a whisper in the void. The practice is simple, but not easy. Find a moment each day to withdraw from noise, not just external sound, but internal commentary. Sit, breathe, and allow yourself to vanish into stillness. Do not try to quiet the mind. Trying is noise. Instead, listen as if the silence were speaking, because it is. You will start to notice that silence has texture. It feels thick, alive, almost luminous. In it, emotions that once felt unbearable dissolve into understanding. Questions answer themselves. What once seemed lost begins to reappear in new form. As you grow familiar with this space, you'll realize something profound. The silence between worlds is not somewhere you go. It's what you are. It's the eternal field beneath your thoughts, the sky behind every storm. When you return from this stillness, life feels lighter. Colors appear sharper. Time slows. Presence deepens. The world has not changed. Your frequency has. You carry the silence with you, like a hidden pulse under every action, reminding you that you are never separate from Source. And so the silence between worlds becomes your sanctuary, not as escape, but as power. Because in that infinite pause, the universe breathes with you, and together you begin again. Chapter 14. The Return to Wholeness. Wholeness is not something you achieve. It is what remains when you stop believing that something is missing. All the healing, all the searching, all the spiritual effort, they were never about becoming more. They were about remembering what you already are. Every fragment you've tried to fix, every wound you've tried to escape, was a doorway back to the truth that you were never broken. The universe itself moves in cycles of fragmentation and return. Stars explode, scattering their elements across space. Then over eons, those same particles gather again to form new suns, new worlds, new life. Your journey is no different. The heartbreaks, the failures, the detours, all of them were your supernova, scattering the light of your consciousness into contrast only so that you could gather it back with awareness. You call it healing. The universe calls it integration. In the quantum field, energy cannot be destroyed, only reorganized. The same applies to you. Nothing you've lived is wasted. Every emotion, every mistake, every joy has been data information about where your frequency was out of tune and how to bring it home. Wholeness happens not when you eliminate darkness, but when you stop separating from it. Your shadow, the parts you judge or deny, is not the enemy. It is unintegrated light. Fear is love misunderstood. Anger is power that forgot it was safe. Guilt is conscience seeking balance. All of them are fragments waiting to be embraced. The process of integration begins with honesty. Stop pretending you are fine when you are not. Stop labeling emotions as low vibe. Authenticity is the highest frequency because truth vibrates in harmony with Source. When you sit with your pain without resistance, you transform it, not through effort, but through presence. The light of awareness reorganizes what was divided. Imagine yourself as a prism. When pure light passes through you, it separates into colors, each color a different emotion, identity, or experience. Wholeness is the moment you turn the prism back toward the sun and let the colors merge again into white. You do not heal by becoming perfect. You heal by realizing that even imperfection is part of perfection. The cracks in your being are not flaws. They are entry points for light. That's why the most beautiful souls carry a quiet depth. They've been shattered enough times to let eternity shine through. Forgiveness is the final key. Not because others deserve it, but because you deserve freedom from the frequency of resentment. Holding on to pain keeps your vibration entangled with what hurt you. Releasing it doesn't mean condoning. It means liberating yourself from energetic gravity. As you forgive, you reabsorb fragments of power you unknowingly left behind. Here is a practice for integration. Sit quietly and visualize every version of yourself: the child, the rebel, the lover, the fearful one, the hopeful one. See them all standing around you in a circle of light. One by one, place a hand on each and whisper, "You are welcome here. You belong." Feel them dissolve into your heart, merging until only one remains, the luminous self, complete, serene, whole. This is not imagination. It is energetic restoration, your field returning to unity. The more often you do it, the more the world mirrors wholeness back to you. Relationships harmonize, health stabilizes, money flows, time softens, because fragmentation creates friction, and wholeness creates flow. Eventually you realize that there was never a spiritual path at all, only the path of remembering. The seeker disappears because there was never anywhere to go. Everything you searched for, love, peace, purpose, was waiting beneath your resistance. Wholeness is the silence after the storm, the clarity after the lesson, the grace that comes when you finally stop running. It is not a state you enter once and keep forever. It is a rhythm you learn to return to. Each time you breathe deeply into yourself, without judgment, you come home. Each time you forgive, you come home. Each time you choose presence over fear, you come home. And one day, you will look around and realize there is nothing left to chase. The past no longer haunts you. The future no longer frightens you. There is only this radiant vast complete. You are not healing anymore. You are remembering that you were always whole. Chapter 15. The Alchemy of Light. Light is not only what you see, it is what you are. Every cell, every atom, every thought is woven from photons, condensed consciousness, vibrating fast enough to become visible. When mystics say you are made of light, it is not poetry. It is physics. Light is information, organized, intelligent, eternal. It carries memory across the universe, folding and unfolding creation with each breath. Stars radiate it. Plants drink it. Your nervous system translates it into awareness. The light you emit is not metaphorical aura. It is literal frequency, encoded with the sum of your emotions, intentions, and beliefs. When your light is coherent, when your energy is clear and focused, you become luminous. People feel it before you speak. Animals calm in your presence. Children trust you instantly. Even technology seems to behave differently around you, because coherent light interacts harmoniously with the electromagnetic fabric of reality. But when your light is scattered by fear, guilt, or self-doubt, it fragments. You feel drained, unseen, disconnected. The world seems dull because your inner prism has dimmed. The task of spiritual alchemy is not to create light, but to purify its channel, to clear the dust of density, so the original brilliance can shine through. Alchemy begins where resistance ends. The ancient alchemists who turned lead into gold were never just chemists. Lead symbolized unconsciousness, heavy, inert energy. Gold represented awakened awareness matter, infused with spirit. They were describing the inner process of refinement, transforming emotional density into illumination. You practice alchemy every time you choose love over fear, calm over reaction, compassion over judgment. Each choice transmutes vibration. Anger, when met with awareness, becomes clarity. Fear, when witnessed without resistance, becomes faith. Grief, when held gently, becomes expansion. Energy never disappears. It only changes form. When you consciously shift its state, you become an alchemist of light. Here is a simple formula. Presence plus compassion. Transmutation. Presence stabilizes the frequency. Compassion raises it. When you hold any emotion within these two vibrations, it cannot remain dense. It has no choice but to ascend into coherence. Try this. When something triggers you, instead of suppressing or reacting, pause. Bring awareness to the feeling in your body. Place your hand over that spot and breathe into it slowly. Imagine golden light entering with each inhale, softening the contraction. With every exhale, whisper, "I allow this to transform." You may feel warmth, tingling, even tears. That is alchemy happening in real time. Over weeks of practice, your light begins to concentrate. Your aura thickens, your intuition sharpens, your timing improves. You start to notice reality, responding faster, as though creation itself recognizes your signature. This is because coherent light bends probability. It organizes matter efficiently. Modern physics calls this quantum coherence. When multiple waves align perfectly, their amplitude multiplies instead of canceling out. That is what happens when your mind, heart, and energy harmonize. You don't work harder. You resonate brighter. This is why saints, sages, and masters were depicted with halos, not symbols of superiority, but of luminous coherence. Their light fields had become so organized that they literally radiated visible brilliance. Every human can reach this. You were born luminous. You simply forgot. When you walk through the world as light, you stop needing to convince or protect. You illuminate rather than compete. Darkness does not threaten you, because darkness is not the enemy. It is simply light, not yet remembered. To heal the world is to shine without agenda, to walk as a quiet beacon, reminding others of their own radiance. And one day, in a moment of stillness, you will feel it, a pulse, deep within your chest, glowing, expanding beyond words or thought. It is not euphoria. It is recognition. You will realize that the light you emit is the same light that moves the stars, the same intelligence that sings through atoms. You will understand that God, the field, the source, are not separate powers. They are synonyms for what you already are. The alchemy is complete when there is no longer you, and light, only light, aware of itself as you. That is the final transmutation. Lead into gold. Fear into power. Human into divine. You began this journey seeking illumination. But illumination was never somewhere to reach. It was the remembering of what was always shining underneath. Now, as the light stabilizes within you, you become not just a witness of reality, but a creator of it, a luminous being walking gently through form, turning every shadow you meet back into the gold of awareness. Chapter 16. The Breath of the Divine. Before sound, before light, before even time, there was breath. The universe itself began with a single exhalation, the expansion of consciousness into form. Every star, every cell, every heartbeat is a continuation of that original inhale and exhale, and every breath you take is the universe remembering itself through you. Breath is the most direct bridge between the seen and unseen. It is spirit-made rhythm, the language through which the infinite communicates with the body. Every inhale draws source into matter. Every exhale returns matter to source. This is the secret rhythm sustaining existence. You were never truly disconnected from the divine, you simply forgot how to breathe with it. Most humans breathe shallowly, trapped in survival patterns. Their lungs move, but their souls do not. The breath remains confined to the upper chest, the realm of anxiety, defense, and separation. But when you breathe consciously, deep, rhythmic, aware, something ancient awakens. The energy stored in the base of your spine begins to rise, coiling through the body like a serpent of light. This is the breath of remembrance, the movement of divine intelligence through human form. Ancient mystics called it prana chiruach numa, all words for the same truth. Breath is consciousness in motion. It carries life force, information, vibration. When you master your breath, you master your frequency. Close your eyes for a moment. Inhale slowly through the nose, count to 4. Hold gently, count to 2. Exhale through the mouth, count to 6. Repeat this rhythm 3 times. Notice how your awareness descends from mind to body, from thought to presence. This is not mere oxygen exchange. It is energy alignment. Each breath reorders your electromagnetic field, harmonizing it with the rhythm of the cosmos. Now imagine breathing, not air, but light. With each inhale, golden energy floods your chest, expanding in all directions. With each exhale, that light flows outward, cleansing your field, dissolving fear, restoring coherence. Breathe like this for a few minutes daily, and you will feel it. The body softens, the mind clears the space around you, brightens. You begin to live as a conduit, not a consumer of divine energy. Breath is also memory. It carries the imprint of every emotion you have ever held. When you breathe consciously, old patterns surface: tension in the shoulders, heat in the chest, tears from nowhere. This is purification, not regression. The body releases what the mind suppressed. The divine breath cannot coexist with stagnation. It will always create space. In the silence that follows, something subtle emerges: awareness breathing you. You realize that you were never the breather, but the breath itself. The inhaler and the inhaled are one. Life is not happening to you. It is happening as you. The deeper you breathe, the thinner the veil between human and divine becomes. You start to perceive subtle energy, the shimmer in the air, the pulse between your palms, the invisible intelligence guiding your timing. You no longer have to ask for guidance. It arrives with the next inhale. In every sacred tradition, the breath was the first initiation. The yogi uses it to awaken kundalini. The shaman uses it to travel between worlds. The mystic uses it to dissolve the self. The healer uses it to transmit coherence. Because breath is not just function, it is ceremony. It is the daily act of becoming the bridge between heaven and earth. Practice this whenever you forget your power. Pause. Inhale, whisper inwardly, I am receiving. Exhale, whisper, I am releasing. Repeat until your heart feels rhythmic again. You'll notice that the situation, the thought, the fear that felt impossible a few moments ago begins to soften. This is the divine breath re-synchronizing you with reality's flow. Eventually, you realize that breathing consciously is praying without words. Each inhale says, thank you. Each exhale says, I trust. Every cycle becomes worship, every breath a vow of belonging. And one day, perhaps quietly, while watching light move through trees or lying awake in the dark, You'll feel it, the same pulse that moves galaxies, moving through your ribs. The same rhythm that turns planets turning in your chest. The realization that you and the divine have never been two. You inhale, and the universe inhales with you. You exhale, and creation sighs in peace. This is the breath of the divine, the eternal rhythm of being, remembering itself through you. Chapter 17. The Law of Resonance. If the universe has one single law written into its structure, it is resonance. Everything vibrates, and everything seeks harmony with vibrations that match its tone. From the orbit of electrons to the rhythm of galaxies, creation organizes itself, not by force, but by frequency. Resonance means that energy of a similar vibration attracts, amplifies, and stabilizes itself. This is why you feel instantly at ease around some people and uneasy around others. It's why certain songs make your body expand with joy, while others feel heavy. It's why your desires, your health, your opportunities always mirror your inner tone, because vibration recognizes its own reflection. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. This is the law of resonance, the master principle behind every teaching of attraction, karma, prayer, and destiny. It is the engine beneath all miracles and the mirror beneath all pain. When you think, feel, or speak, you send out a frequency. The universe, vast but precise, responds by echoing back experiences that harmonize with that vibration. You are tuning the radio of reality every moment. The human ego believes power lies in action, but in truth, action is only an amplifier. Vibration is the signal. Without resonance, even the greatest effort produces resistance. With resonance, even the smallest movement reshapes worlds. Imagine the universe as a hall of tuning forks. Strike one, and others of the same pitch begin to sing. That is how creation works. You cannot fake vibration. You can speak words of abundance while vibrating scarcity, but the field responds only to the hum beneath the sentence. To master resonance, begin, not by chasing outcomes, but by tuning your energy. Ask yourself before acting, does this frequency match what I wish to experience? If not, pause. Shift internally before moving externally. The tools of resonance are simple: breath, gratitude, attention, stillness. These recalibrate your energy faster than any strategy. A grateful heart hums in coherence. A fearful mind scatters its tone. Gratitude is magnetic because it vibrates in the same key as abundance. Even science acknowledges this now. The human heart generates the most powerful electromagnetic field in the body, thousands of times stronger than that of the brain. When your heart and mind are synchronized, the wave patterns become ordered, measurable, radiant. The law of resonance begins not in thought, but in the heart's rhythm. Here is a practice. Sit quietly. Place your hand over your chest. Inhale slowly through the nose, feeling the breath move toward your hand. As you exhale, whisper a simple truth: I am in harmony with all that is mine. Repeat until your heartbeat feels steady, until emotion replaces effort. That feeling calm, expanded, radiant is the vibration of alignment. When you maintain that vibration long enough, matter reorganizes. People shift, opportunities reappear, luck increases. This is not magic. It is physics wearing the costume of grace. The law of resonance is also the law of mirrors. You cannot attract love while rejecting yourself. You cannot call in peace while warring with your own thoughts. You cannot experience abundance while vibrating fear of loss. The universe does not hear your words. It feels your tone. Resonance does not lie. You might perform kindness, but if your motive is validation, the vibration remains scarcity. You might meditate for hours, but if you do it to escape reality, the vibration remains resistance. Energy cannot be deceived. It responds to coherence, not pretense. That is why authenticity is the most magnetic frequency in existence. To be real, raw, truthful, aligned is to hum in your natural tone, and the universe hearing that honesty moves mountains to meet you. The moment your energy matches the experience you seek, it must appear. Not because you earned it, but because resonance leaves no alternative. The field always seeks balance. When your vibration and your desire harmonize, manifestation becomes inevitability. If you ever doubt this, look to sound itself. When two instruments play the same note in perfect pitch, their waves merge and amplify. The sound becomes richer, fuller, more powerful than either alone. That is what happens when you and the universe sing in tune. So the next time you feel the urge to chase, stop. Ask instead, what vibration am I broadcasting right now? Is it fear, control, need? Or is it trust, peace, and knowing? Because whatever you hum, creation will harmonize. Resonance is not belief. It is embodiment. It is not hope. It is certainty felt in the cells. When your energy stabilizes, the world bends to meet your tone. And then you will finally understand. Miracles are not exceptions to the rule. They are the rule once you remember the music. Chapter 18. The Return of the One. In the beginning, there was awareness. Not a being, not a place, just pure consciousness, infinite and still. It dreamed itself into light. Light dreamed itself into form. Form dreamed itself into you. And now, through the long arc of remembering, the dream is circling back. Everything you have learned about thought, frequency, emotion, surrender has been one continuous movement, the universe folding back into awareness of itself. You have crossed the entire spectrum of being, from the illusion of separation to the truth of unity, from chaos to coherence, from searching to seeing. The seeker and the sought were never two. The universe was never outside you. You were always the field, the source, the light playing hide and seek through matter, until you could bear your own brilliance again. When this realization stabilizes, something extraordinary happens. You stop oscillating between worlds. The spiritual and the physical no longer feel divided. Breath and prayer become the same act. Silence and sound carry the same tone. The ordinary becomes sacred because you perceive its true geometry, God disguised as everything. The One is not a distant deity. It is the moment you look at another being and see no edge between you. It is the knowing that the same pulse-moving galaxies moves through their heartbeat too. To live from this awareness is the highest form of worship. The return to oneness is not escape. It is embodiment. It is washing dishes with presence, walking through crowds with compassion, speaking truth without defense. It is the realization that enlightenment was never a mountain to climb. It was the ground beneath your feet the entire time. Here is the paradox when you dissolve into the One. Individuality doesn't vanish. It becomes translucent, like a window that lets the infinite shine through. You still laugh, create love, but now you know who is laughing, who is creating, who is loving. It is not the small I trying to survive. It is the whole cosmos expressing joy through a single point of awareness. Sit now in stillness. Breathe in slowly and imagine the entire universe expanding inside your lungs. Exhale and feel it collapse gently back into your heart. This is the cosmic rhythm: creation and dissolution, inhalation and exhalation. One becoming many and many remembering one. There is nothing more to seek, nothing more to prove, only to live consciously, kindly, courageously, as the vibration of the One, made visible. Every time you forgive, the universe becomes lighter. Every time you love without agenda, galaxies hum in gratitude. Every time you breathe with awareness, creation realigns around your pulse. This is how worlds heal, not through wars or miracles, but through awakened hearts, quietly radiating coherence. When the last illusion of distance dissolves, you will smile, because you will recognize that what you called God has been whispering through your own voice all along. The journey ends where it began, in stillness, in light, in love. You are home. You are the One returning to itself endlessly, joyfully, now and forever. Epilogue, the final transmission. Silence. That is how it ends, not with answers, but with awareness. You have walked the spiral from darkness to light, from self to source, from searching to stillness. And now you stand in the quiet space between breaths, realizing there was never a distance to cross. The truth does not shout. It hums softly like a pulse beneath your ribs. It says, "You are already everything you were seeking." The words you have heard were only mirrors, reflections of what you already knew, but had forgotten. They were never meant to be kept, only to dissolve once remembrance returns. So now take one final breath. Inhale, feel the universe entering you as light. Exhale, feel yourself dissolving into the universe as love. From this moment forward, you do not need to practice becoming. You only need to remember being. Let life move through you gently, freely, completely. Let every conversation, every glance, every silence become prayer. Let every act, even the smallest, be made holy by awareness. And when the noise of the world rises again, when the mind forgets and the heart closes, come back here. Back to the still point where everything began. Back to the quiet pulse whispering, "I am." You are the dream and the dreamer, the question and the answer, the wave and the ocean. There is nothing left to seek, only to shine. Welcome home, luminous one. Your transmission is complete. If this audiobook gave you even one moment of clarity, share it with someone who might need the same pause. And subscribe, so next time, calm finds you first.